Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is the very long-awaited third place Magnolia Elder deck profile from my Bushy Road Springfest experience at Rosemont, Illinois. My teammates' deck list, so our Seat B player, Kai's Barrow Magnus deck, and then Ryan's Seraph Purelight list will be in the description below, but I will be kind of going more so over Magnolia as this was where my expertise was. If you guys have any questions about their list, though, please feel free to check them out in the description, or if you have questions about this one, just feel free to ask in the comments below, as I would love to kind of talk more with you guys about this and help you guys feel more comfortable with your upcoming Springfest or whatever event you have coming up soon. So the ride line, we play Zorgnolia. This is the strongest ride line in the game. These two pieces right here help you dig insanely well. We're seeing very high success with this in Magnolia, Flagberg. It's already in Zorga. Even the token deck that's supposed to come out in set 5 also has a ton of very successful builds using some of these Zorga orders that are a little bit more generic along with this ride line piece. If you don't have this and you like playing Stoichia, I would highly recommend that you get them, even if they're in the low rarity. It's just a very nice ride line to have. The reason why we play that ride line, though, the short and sweet, is you have to dig for your grade 4 and you have to dig for your Inlet Pulse, but you don't want to play the infinite number of draw triggers. You want to see more aggressive triggers as well, so this is why we play that ride line. In the grade 4s and grade 3s, I'll kind of put them together. We have 4 copies of the Magnolia Elder, and then we have 4 copies of the Inlet Pulse. Inlet Pulse is probably one of the strongest cards in the deck and probably one of the best cards, if not the best card, that Stoichia got as a whole in set 4. Sorry, Zorga mains, that you cannot use this, but this card is absolutely broken. Usually because a lot of the decks that I ended up fighting cleared boards, so you know, your Gravidias, we saw a lot of Purelight at Rosemont, we saw a lot of Barrow at Rosemont, and this is just a insane card. If you can at least find 2 of these early, combined with the orders you play, you can easily set up for very aggressive turns where you can loop 1 to 2 of these every turn, which then generates you a +5 experience where you get +1 draw from each Inlet Pulse that you play in that turn, and then you get the +3 from your drive check, which helps you keep your hand large, because since we play a lot of draws in Magnolia right now, you're often not going to have a ton of shield value. It's mostly 5k, so digging for those BGs and having a bunch of extra shield value is really nice. So Inlet Pulse is definitely amazing, carried the deck. We're gonna get into the grade 2s. We have 4 copies of Pantharo, we have 4 copies of Inpix, 3 copies of Gabreg. I'll move that down, actually, still getting used to this, and then we have 2 copies of Gabreg. So I still play 2 copies of Gabreg, as very similar from my list earlier in the season, or for this set at least. I just don't like running 1-ofs. They just don't feel nice. And there's a lot of matchups where this doesn't go off, like your Purelight matchup. Sometimes it's hard to maintain a board, so against Gravidia, sometimes you won't be able to maintain this on board, especially if you whiff your Npixes. And especially in Barrow. Barrow is one of the few times where theoretically you will always have the soul to Gabreg, so you will always have a 20 to 25k grade 2 swinging, which is very nice for aggro turns. The issue is, can you maintain the rest of your board? And they hit really big numbers and you have to guard very often against Barrow. So sometimes you're gonna have to pitch this, but having the 2, make sure if you pitch the 1, you still have another one to potentially steal games, because if they have a grade 1 on board, they can't Sentinel when Gabreg swings. So we have 3 of the bear. Every set, it's the big question is the bear good or is the bear not good? We saw sets like set 2 where bear was not very good. You wanted the Kusi, the 15k without shield, grade 1. This set though, Gabreg is very nice. We love this card. I was originally playing 2 of these and playing the Urgula, which is a grade 1 tech for Nirvana, but because it was a team league, I decided to take my Urgula tech out, as I figured I could probably dodge the Nirvanas by just picking a seat and putting a more favorable deck on my team in that seat instead. So Gabreg's just great, passes power, insane with OT. I don't think I need to explain too much, as this won me so many games. I don't really think it's a 4-of, but 3 feels really nice. Then we have 4 Npex. Npex is the best card in the deck outside of your grade 4 and your Inlet Pulse. Those 3 are kind of like the holy trinity of what made Magnolia right now. And it just protects your board against very important Bryant Gate matchups, which if you guys have seen the charts from WCC or just the results, Bryant Gate is very popular and almost all of the decks target your board and try to get rid of your stuff. And Impex says fuck you, and that's very nice. So we play 4 of these. If you don't have 4, play as many as you can possibly get. Even if it's 2 is still better than none, and it actually wins you a ton of games. Double Inlet Pulse plus double Impex won me so many games, as I was able to plus 5, 2 from the Inlet, 2 from the Magnolia Elder, and then I got to maintain my board because my opponent can target my stuff. So, insane card. And then of course we have Pantharo here. This is mainly a going first card, because if you're going second, then you have this 9k swinging into a 10k, and that's not kosher. Another thing you can do, which I did quite a bit throughout day 1, is I would pitch the Pantharo for my grade 2 ride, and I would get back my spiritual body condensation that I sent off of my Rancor chain when I rode that. So then I can use this to recall my Pantharo, and then it scales as a 14k beat stick, which then hits over 10ks. So then I can apply pressure that way. It wasn't always the go-to strat, but if you are going second or feel like you need to pressure against a number that is not 9k, then you have that combo there too. It's just always good. It builds a board, especially in the barrel matchup. I love this card in the barrel matchup, as I could basically just call, even if they're in the soul blast them from the soul, and then just call them from drop. And so he can build you a board really fast against decks that kind of clear your board, and that's really important in this current meta. So those are the grade 2s. Next, we're going to go to the grade 1s and the orders. So the only grade 1s I play is 4 PG. It's really the only ones you need. You can play certain grade 1s, like the one that countercharges. It's not really necessary, but you can play it. Or like Urgula, if you expect to see a lot of Nirvana where you're playing at, or if that's the Sieger and you expect a lot of Nirvana, you can tech the 1 or 2 Urgulas, and they're also nice too, because that means you can push on turn 1. Going second, this deck does very well going second and first. It just, some matchups require you to win the dice roll, but that is the Overdress format right now. Give it like a year. And then we have the orders. I play a very slim 5 count of orders. So just 3 copies of Spiritual Body Condensation, and then 2 copies of the Regurgitation from the Underworld. This is really good at pinging Turquoise. There is the grade 3 in Gravidia that on place you put a meteor from your drop into your order zone, and then if they retire 3 of the units, it gets like +5 in a crit. That's really annoying to guard against, because again, you don't have a lot of shield value, so you have to get rid of those pieces. The Taser Loggers, the grade 3 for Prism, just any disruption card that needs to stay on board to proc its effect. That's what this is here for. Other than that, you just discard it and call it a day. Then of course you have the 3 copies of Spiritual Body Condensation. I don't play Persona rides in here, so I don't really see a need for Wild Intelligence, and I didn't really feel that I wanted to take a Wild Intelligence for a 1-turn play. It just didn't feel like a very good use of a slot that I could commit to something like a Gabreg that could win me the game, or a Gnosia that could win me the game if I lose the other 2. So that's the order lineup. Very clean, straight to the point. And then we get into triggers. So originally for a long time I was only playing 4 crit, and we like being a high roller, so we've now played 5 crit. I also get to use this triple rare. Shout out to Dark Phantom TTV. He originally set me up with a ton of Magnolia SPs and triple rares from the original festival collection, and it helped prolong my appreciation for this deck. So shout out to the homie. Of course, we play a crap ton of draws. So we play 4 of the 10k draws, and then we play 2 of the normal draws. These were, I had them in foil, so that's what we played. And I was originally doing a 7-4 split. At one point I was even doing 4 draws, 3 crit, and then like 4 front. I tried all of the lineups, and this just felt the nicest, because to be able to threaten your opponent with the crit when they're at 4 is really scary. And so you can do a lot with that, and playing 1 front here doesn't really change that. I'd rather just have the extra crit. You need the draws though, because if you don't find a couple of pieces, you lose the game. If you don't see the Inlet Pulse, you lose the game. If you don't see the in-picks against certain matchups, you also lose the game. And if you don't see Magnolia Elder, or it shows up too late, by then your opponent's probably gained too much momentum and you will lose the game. So I tried 7, it was too many, and I wanted a little bit more shield value to kind of balance out the aggro to defense the deck had to offer, so we only play 6. And then of course we got heals and OT, which kind of doubles as a 7th draw, a 5th heal, that phantom front trigger that we don't run, and of course that 6th crit, so it's technically a 6 crit deck, 7 draw deck if you really think about it. During day 1, I hit a lot of OT going into the later matches, but also like I think I made a lot of good calls, played really safe, again with double Inlet Pulse, double in-picks when I found it, otherwise just kind of played with what I had. I think playing Anj and V, which you guys will also see that deck profile if I haven't dropped that already, kind of prepared me to play in a way where you play with what you get and you just kind of roll with it, and that's kind of how it went. My first top 8 match was the only Magnolia mirror I played, which is basically 2 people just punching each other really hard till someone hits 6 damage. And I did not see my grade 4 Magnolia till turn 6, but I did see other pieces and I just kind of played with what I had. We both hit OT that game, and that's just how it goes. I guess long story short, Overdress may feel like a coin toss meta sometimes, but just play with what you get, prepare your deck properly. And this was a lot of fun to play. It was really nice, as this was my first deck I played in Standard when they first started releasing cards for Overdress, and it's really nice to see it come full circle from that counter pick, not very good deck, to this deck is absolutely insane. With that being said, that is the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed at least one part of the video. And then of course, my teammates' decks are in the description below, and you guys can feel free to ask me questions about their list. Why did X player play this card here? And I would love to field those questions. Anyways, take care of yourself, guys. Peace out.